The chord joining the points P alpha and Q beta is a focal chord. Yes, then tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 is what? All right. Options are all in terms of the eccentricities. Now, we know the endpoints of a chord can be written as P A cos alpha comma B sin alpha and Q A cos beta comma B sin beta. Right? The equation of the chord joining these 2 points, I hope you remember this, is x by a cos alpha plus beta by 2 plus y by b sin alpha plus beta by 2 is equal to cos of alpha minus beta by 2. Right? Now, we already know this equation. How to use the fact that it passes through, it's a focal chord. It's a focal chord, therefore it passes through the focus. So what can we do? We will substitute the focus in this equation, right? The line passes through a e comma 0. Therefore, ae upon a cos alpha plus beta plus 0 is equal to cos alpha minus beta by 2. Correct? Therefore, a will get cancelled and we have cos of alpha minus beta by 2 upon cos of alpha plus beta by 2 is equal to E. Yes. And so from this, how can I figure out tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2? Think about that. Yes. If it is not very clear, imagine, figure this out. Think about this. Tan alpha by 2 into tan theta into tan alpha. Let's say tan theta into tan phi, right? Isn't it sin theta sin phi upon cos theta cos phi? Correct. Yes, it is that. Now we want all those 4 terms. Do we have all those 4 terms? We do, because this is cos of theta minus phi and cos of theta plus phi, right? Cos theta minus phi is cos theta cos phi plus sin theta sin phi, which is exactly the terms that we have here, except here they're getting added and here they're getting divided. Similarly, this will have cos theta cos phi minus sin theta sin phi. So here they're getting added and subtracted, and here they're getting divided. Right? So they're getting added and subtracted, but we want division. Yes? What do we do? Componendo and dividendo. Componendo and dividendo. Brilliant technique. It is so useful. Right? Another hint that you should be using that is there in the options. If you look at the options, whenever you get expressions like this, right? A plus B upon A minus B. Whenever you get expressions like this, you should always ask yourself, maybe componendo and dividendo is involved, right? So over here, let us apply componendo and dividendo. What do we get? We get from here, if you add the two, yes, if you add cos alpha by 2 minus beta by 2 and cos alpha by 2 plus beta by 2, what do we get? We will have 2 sin alpha by 2 sin beta by 2, right? I'm sorry, if you subtract the 2, you will have 2 sin alpha by 2 sin beta by 2. And if you add the 2, you will get 2 cos alpha by 2 cos beta by 2, correct? Therefore, that would be equal to E minus 1 upon E plus 1. What is this now? This is tan alpha by 2 up into tan beta by 2, correct? You have tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 is equal to E minus 1 upon E plus 1. Got it? Yes? All right. So once again, what did we do? The question says the chord joining the points P alpha and Q beta is a focal chord. Then the value of this expression is being asked, right? So we started with the equation of the line joining these 2 points, but we already know the equation. On that equation, we substituted the focus AE comma 0, correct? And then when you simplify, you get something like cos of alpha minus beta by 2 upon cos of alpha plus beta by 2 is equal to E, correct? Then based on this expression and looking at the options, and also realizing that you want tan into tan, we applied componendo and dividendo. Once you do that, within 2 steps, you will figure out that tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 is E minus 1 upon E plus 1. Yes? Got it? Okay, let us proceed then. If the chord joining the points P alpha and Q beta on the ellipse x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1 subtends a right angle at the vertex a comma 0, then tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 is what? Okay. So once again, you have 2 points P a cos alpha, B sin alpha, Q a cos beta, B sin beta, and it is given that they are subtending a right angle at the vertex. The vertex a comma 0, right? And this time again, we need tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2. All right. So we know since This is a right angle triangle. Therefore, slope of AP into slope of AQ should be -1. Correct? Right angles. And therefore, because all the coordinates are given, substitute, right? So I'll have B sine alpha upon A cos alpha minus A into B sine beta upon A cos beta minus A. This is equal to -1, right? So from the numerator, you bring B square outside. From denominator, you bring A square outside, right? So B square upon A square is sin alpha sin beta upon 1 minus cos alpha into 1 minus cos beta. Now observe this very carefully, because in the options you have B square and A square everywhere, right? Which means you must be pretty close to the answer. Now this we need to simplify. Somehow if we can simplify this to get tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2, my work is done, right? Now we want half angles, right? So the best thing to do would be to convert this into half angle formula, right? So what is sin alpha? Sin alpha would be 2 sin alpha by 2 cos alpha by 2, right? What is 1 minus cos alpha? 2 sin square alpha by 2, correct? You apply that again and again. You have, yes, you have over here 2 sin alpha by 2 cos alpha by 2 upon 2 sin square alpha by 2, right? So you see 2 gets cancelled, sin alpha by 2 gets cancelled. You're only left with cos alpha by 2 upon sin alpha by 2, right? So cot alpha by 2. So similarly, you have cot alpha by 2 into cot beta by 2 into b square by a square equal to -1. You take this to the other side, you will have tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 is equal to minus b square by a square, which is your answer. Got it? So what did we do? There was an ellipse and then 2 points on the ellipse were given with their eccentric angles, and it is said that they are subtending a right angle at the vertex. So and then it was asked the tan alpha by 2 into tan beta by 2 value, right? So we simply applied the formula of the slopes being perpendicular, right? So product of slopes is -1, and when we simplified within a few steps, we get cot alpha by 2 into cot beta by 2 is equal to minus a square by b square, and therefore you take reciprocals and you have your answer. Yes, got it? Okay, let us proceed. AOB is the positive quadrant of the ellipse x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, right? In which OA is equal to A and OB equal to B. Then the area between the arc AB and the chord AB of the ellipse. Okay, area between the arc AB and the chord AB, right? So this part is what we need the area of, right? So I hope you realize that whenever you need to find area of such figure, the best thing to do would be to find area of this larger figure and then subtract this triangle. Correct? So what we will do, we will find area of the quadrant OAB and then subtract triangle AOB. Correct? And so we already know that the area of the whole ellipse is pi AB. Correct? Area of the whole ellipse is pi AB. Therefore, area of this quadrant would be pi AB upon 4. Correct? So area of quadrant OAB would be pi AB upon 4. What about triangle OAB? Yes, what is its area? Triangle OAB. We know OA is equal to A, OB is equal to B. Therefore, area of triangle OAB would be half AB. Correct? Half AB. You simply subtract the two, you will have your answer. So area of triangle is half AB. You subtract the two, pi AB upon 4 minus half AB. You have your answer AB upon 4 into pi minus 2. Correct? AB upon 4 into pi minus 2 is your answer. So I hope you realize that in questions like this, you simply have to draw the diagram and then think, right? You don't even have to write much. So once you draw the diagram, you know that this part is going to be pi AB upon 4 and this part is going to be half AB. So the difference will be AB upon 4 into pi minus 2. Yes, got it? Okay, let us proceed. If the ellipse x square by 4 plus y square equal to 1 meets the ellipse x square plus y square by a square equal to 1 at 4 distinct points, and A is equal to b square minus 5b plus 7, then B does not lie in which region? Okay. I think you have done this question. I think we have done this question in the previous session. Not a problem. Let us revise it. All right. So we want these two ellipses to meet, right, at 4 distinct points. So in the diagram, we can see very clearly that for this ellipse, its major axis is 2, minor axis is 1. For this second ellipse, the axis along x-axis is 1. Therefore, the axis along y must be greater than 1. It has to be greater than 1 for it to be for it to cut the previous ellipse. Therefore, by looking at this, if this is 0, a and this is 0, 1, we can see that a must be greater than 1, right? So if a is greater than 1, look at this equation, b square minus 5b plus 7. This must be greater than 1. Therefore, the two ellipses cut each other only when a is greater than 1. Therefore, b square minus 5b plus 7 is greater than 1. Therefore, b square minus 5b plus 6 is greater than 0. You factorize this, we can be sure that b belongs to minus infinity to 2 or 3 to infinity, right? So b is less than 2 or greater than 3, which is your answer. So b does not lie in 2 to 3. Got it? Okay. Since we have done this, I hope we don't need to repeat it. Okay. The line x equal to t square meets the ellipse x square by 1 plus y square by 9 equal to 1 at real and distinct points if and only if. Okay. So we have this line which is clearly a vertical line, and we want the line to meet this ellipse at real and distinct points. So if and only if, what condition on t? Okay. So whenever you have such questions, directly substitute x equal to t in the equation of the ellipse, and then you try to figure out what are the conditions on t. Okay. Substitute x equal to t square in the equation of the ellipse. Therefore, we have t raised to 4 plus y square by 9 equal to 1. Therefore, y square by 9 is 1 minus t raised to 4. Therefore, y square equal to 9 into 1 minus t raised to 4. Got it? Y square is 9 into 1 minus t raised to 4. Now, this is clearly a square minus b square form. So 1 minus t square into 1 plus t square is greater than 0, right? A minus b into a plus b. Now you see 9 is positive and 1 plus t square is also positive. Therefore, we have 1 minus t square must be greater than 0. Correct? 1 minus t square must be greater than 0. Therefore, I can say that t square must be less than 1, which means mod t is less than 1. Got it? Mod t must be less than 1, which is required for this line to meet this ellipse. Okay? What did we do? The given line we knew it was a vertical line and it meets this ellipse. So we simply substituted x equal to t square in this. And so you get y square, you get an equation in terms of y square and t raised to 4. And we said that if this is y square, that means it must be greater than 0. And therefore, when you simplify it, you get t square is less than 1, which is mod t is less than 1. Yes? Got it? Okay. The eccentric angle of a point on the ellipse x square by 4 plus y square by 3 equal to 1 at a distance of 5 by 4 units from the focus on the positive x-axis is what? Okay. We need the eccentric angle such that its distance at 5 by 4 units from the focus on the positive x-axis. Okay. So we know the coordinates of foci are simply, yes, AE, 0, right? And so we want positive x-axis, so 1, 0. All right. How did we get E? Root of b square by a square. That is what gives me E. So AE, 0, which gives me 1, 0. All right. The parametric form of a point of any point on this ellipse would be 2 cos alpha, root 3 sin alpha. Correct? Based on a square equal to 4 and b square equal to 3. So 2 cos alpha, root 3 sin alpha. Now we want the distance of this point from this coordinate to be 5 by 4. Correct? Distance of this point from this focus to be 5 by 4, and therefore simply apply distance formula. Right? So 2 cos alpha minus 1 the whole square plus root 3 sin alpha the whole square equal to 5 by 4. Correct? When you simplify this, you will get cos alpha is equal to 3 by 4. Right? You get simplified. Do you realize because this is sin square alpha, so directly you can convert it into cos square alpha. This is a quadratic in cos alpha. This is a quadratic in cos alpha. You will get a quadratic equation in terms of cos alpha. You solve it, you get cos alpha equal to 3 by 4. Therefore, the eccentric angle would be cos inverse of 3 by 4. Yes? Got it? Okay. Let us proceed. If S and S dash are foci of the ellipse x square by 25 plus y square by 16 equal to 1, and P is any point on it, then the range of the values of SP into S dash P is what? Okay. So S and S dash are simply foci, and P is any point. Therefore, the range of the values of SP into S dash P is what is asked. Correct? Now, before we even proceed, think about this. What do we know about SP and S dash P? The only thing we know about SP and S dash P is that their sum is fixed. How much? What is that sum? Is 2A, where A is 5, therefore 2A is 10. Correct? So now we know SP and S dash P, they add up to 10. Therefore, we need to find the minimum and maximum product. Okay, so having guessed that much, the parametric point of an ellipse is 5 cos alpha comma 4 sin alpha. Correct? Because a square is 25 and b square is 60. Okay, so we know SP is 5 plus 5e cos alpha and h dash p is 5 minus 5e cos alpha. How do we get this? How do we get SP and h dash p? Right? Because this is a plus ae cos alpha and a minus ae cos alpha. Sorry, right? I hope you know this. Okay, so I will just repeat that. This should be a plus x1e and a minus x1e. All right, because 5 cos alpha here turns out to be x1, which is your point, right? So SP would be a plus x1e, h dash p would be a minus x1e. You can see if you add them, you will get 10, correct? But what happens when you multiply them? When we multiply them, you multiply these two, you will get SP into h dash p would give me 25 minus 25 e square cos square alpha, correct? But what is e? E you can get by root of 1 minus b square by a square, correct? E is root of 1 minus b square by a square, which is 3 by 5. Substitute it here, you will get 25 minus 3 by 5 the whole square, 25 cos square alpha, correct? Now look at this. Look at this entire expression. This will simplify to 25 minus 9 cos square alpha, correct? 25 minus 9 cos square alpha. So what is the minimum and maximum of this? See, for this to be minimum, my subtraction should be minimum, right? So minimum value of, sorry, for this to be maximum, I have to subtract the minimum value. So the minimum value of this is 0. Therefore, when you subtract 0, maximum is 25, correct? And then for this to be minimum, my cos square alpha should be maximum. Maximum of cos square alpha is 1. Therefore, 25 minus 9 gives me 16. Got it? So minimum is 16 and maximum is 25. Yes? What did we do here? Two foci are given and then P is any point on it, and we need to find minimum maximum for SP into H dash P. The first thing we did is we found a parametric point, right? And from that parametric point, we found an expression for SP and H dash P. Okay, in terms of the eccentricity and the angle, eccentric angle. Yes? Once we had that, we calculated the eccentricity itself because both a square and b square are given. And when you multiply these two, you get an expression only in terms of alpha. Using the limits of cos square alpha, we could find the minimum and maximum of SP and H dash P. Yes, SP into H dash P. Got it? Shall we proceed? Okay, let's proceed. There are exactly 2 points on the ellipse, x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, whose distances from the center are the same and are equal to this. Then the eccentricity of the ellipse is what? Okay, so it is being given that there are exactly 2 points on the ellipse whose distances from the center are the same and are equal to this value. Then the eccentricity is what? So now think about it. A particular distance is given and it is said that there are exactly 2 points on this ellipse for which the distance from center to that point is equal to this. When does that happen? For example, see, from the center, if I took a point here, this distance, how many other, like let this distance be, let's say 2 units. Can you tell me how many other points will have this distance 2 units? Can you see all the reflection points, right? So if this is P, then P dash here, it will also have a distance of 2 units. Then P double dash, this will also have a distance of 2 units, and P triple dash will also have a distance of 2 units, right? So when you reflect any point about x and y axis, you will get a set of 4 points with the same distance from the origin, which means that is going to happen for most of these points, right? Every point that doesn't lie on the axis that will exhibit that property, right? Which means for this to be true, yes, this distance must be either minor axis or major axis, correct? Think about that. This distance must be minor axis or major axis, because only when, if it is minor axis, then there are only 2 points that have that distance, correct? Only 2 points, these 2 vertices on y axis will have the distance of b, and then if the distance is a, then there are only 2 points for which the distance is a from the center, correct? So having understood that, we can say that this distance is equal to either a or b. Yes, it's equal to either a or b. Now let us look at that expression very carefully. First, since there are only 2 points, the points have to be either end of the points of major axis or minor axis, correct? Now, look at this expression very carefully. This must be equal to A or it must be equal to B. Let us take A first. Can it be equal to A? Well, there is no reason to believe why it should not be equal to A, correct? There is no reason to contradict that, so we will ignore that for now. Can it be equal to B? No, it cannot be equal to B, because if I split this fraction, what am I going to get? I will get A square by 2 plus B square. Right, so square root of A square plus by 2 plus B square, do you realize will always be greater than square root of B square? Right? Square root of A square by 2 plus B square will always be greater than square root of B square. Square root of B square is B itself. Right? So this whole expression is always going to be greater than B, which means this distance cannot be B, which means it must be A. Correct? So this is interesting. Since this entire expression is greater than B, the points are endpoints of the major axis. These are the points A comma 0 and minus A comma 0. Therefore, I can say A is equal to root of A square plus 2B square by 2. Correct? So now we have an equation in terms of A and B itself. You square it, you take the 2 here, we'll have 2A square equal to A square plus 2B square, and therefore A square equal to 2B square. When you have this, can you now tell me the eccentricity of the ellipse? E would be root of 1 minus B square by A square, which is root of 1 minus half, which is 1 by root 2. Got it? 1 by root 2. So how did we get there? First we said if there are going to be exactly 2 points with a given distance, then it must be endpoints of minor axis or endpoints of major axis. But we said this cannot be equal to semi-minor axis because this is greater than B. Therefore it must be equal to semi-major axis. Therefore A is equal to root of A square plus 2B square by 2. You simplified that, we got A square equal to 2B square. Using that, we could calculate the eccentricity, that is equal to 1 by root 2. Got it? Interesting, right? Okay, let us proceed then. A line of fixed length A plus B moves so that its ends are always on 2 fixed perpendicular straight lines, right? Then the locus of the point which divides this line into the portions of lengths A and B is what? Okay, so now this is the given diagram, right? There are 2 perpendicular lines, fixed perpendicular lines. So let us take them as X and Y axis. And then there is a length, there's a line AB of length A plus B. Okay, and there's a point P X comma Y that divides AB in portions of distance A and B, which means AP equal to A and BP is equal to B. All right, and then we need to find locus of point P. Okay, all right, so observe this diagram very carefully. Generally, whatever be the position of this line, let us take the angle that it subtends with x-axis to be theta. Yes, so now what we need to do is we need to somehow find X and Y in terms of theta and AB. Yes, because then if I can eliminate theta, I will have my locus. Okay, so observe this carefully. Let AB be the line, when then we know AB is equal to A plus B. If AB makes angle theta with the x-axis, then the coordinates of point P can be written as, observe this, in triangle APL. In triangle APL, we will know that X is equal to A cos theta. Correct? Because if this is my X coordinate and then this is the angle theta, therefore X would be A cos theta. Correct? Similarly, in triangle PBQ, Y would be B sin theta. Correct? Because if this is B, then this is B sin theta. Correct? And therefore, the coordinates of point P X comma Y would be, yes, X equal to A cos theta and Y equal to B sin theta. Now, how do I figure out the locus of this? I will say X upon A the whole square plus Y upon B the whole square would be cos square theta plus sin square theta, which is 1. Correct? X upon A the whole square is cos square theta, Y square by B square is sin square theta. You add them, you get 1. See, theta is eliminated, therefore this is the locus, which is an ellipse. Got it? What did we do here? We said, since take the 2 perpendicular lines to be X and Y axis, the given line, its length is A plus B and point P divides it in portions of A and B, which means AP equal to A and BP is equal to B. We said at any point, let us say this line makes an angle theta with the x-axis. Then we said If x comma y are the coordinates of the point P, then in this triangle, yes, in this triangle APL, where L is the perpendicular from P to y axis, then I could say that x is going to be a cos theta. And similarly, in triangle BPQ, y which is PQ should be b sin theta. Correct? So x is equal to a cos theta, y equal to b sin theta. Here we eliminated theta by squaring and adding. We got one by squaring and adding cos square theta and sin square theta. So we get x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, which is the required locus. Yes, got it? Okay, let us proceed. Let S and S dash be two foci of the ellipse x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. If a circle described on S dash as diameter intersects the ellipse at real and distinct points, then eccentricity E of the ellipse satisfies what? Okay. Now, you see two ellipses are given and we know the points of intersection lie on a circle, right? So, I'm sorry, S and S dash, the two foci are given, right? And a circle is described on SS dash as diameter, okay? And it intersects the ellipse at real and distinct points. Then we need to figure out what is the condition on the eccentricity. All right. So we know the equation of circle with SS dash as diameter can be written as, see, the center is origin, therefore x square plus y square equal to a square e square. Correct? Because this distance is 2ae, therefore radius is ae, therefore x square plus y square is a square e square, which is a square minus b square. Yes. Now the circle cuts the ellipse in real and distinct points only when the radius has to be greater than b and less than a. Can you see this? This radius must be greater than b, only then it will cut the ellipse vertically, and then its distance should be less than a, only then SS dash will lie inside, correct, the ellipse. And therefore your radius, we'll write it as a square minus b square, must lie between b square and a square, correct? So we get two separate conditions. The first condition, from this we will get 2b square is less than a square, and the second condition we get minus b square is negative, right? A square will get cancelled, minus b square is negative, but we know minus b square is always going to be negative, right? So don't worry about this. So look at the first condition, b square is less than a square b square. Therefore, what can I say? A square should be greater than 2b square, or b square by a is less than half. Correct? B square by a square is less than half. What is my eccentricity? Eccentricity is 1 minus b square by a square, or e square. Sorry, eccentricity square is 1 minus b square by a square, which then becomes 1 minus half, but it will be greater than 1 minus half. Correct? And so we will have 1 minus b square by a square is greater than half, and therefore my eccentricity would be greater than e square would be greater than half, or e would be greater than 1 by root 2. Got it? From this I can say e square is greater than half, therefore e is greater than 1 by root 2. Correct? Which is your answer. Yes, this one. And we know e has to be less than 1 because only then it's an ellipse. Okay. The locus of the point which divides the double ordinates of the ellipse x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1 in the ratio 1:2 internally. Yes, we have actually done this question, so I will just quickly go through this. Yes, this is the double ordinate, and a point R h comma k divides it in the ratio 1:2, right? So we know point P and Q, we can simply write it as a cos alpha b sin alpha and a cos alpha minus b sin alpha, right? And then we will use section formula. So we will get h comma k will be, see, h is going to be anyway a cos alpha because this is a vertical line, right? Double ordinate. And k, applying section formula, will give me minus b sin alpha plus 2 b sin alpha upon 3. So b sin alpha upon 3, right? So h is a cos alpha, k is b by 3 sin alpha. From this I can get cos alpha and sin alpha. Cos alpha is h by a, sin alpha is 3k by b, square and add. Correct? Squaring and adding, h by a the whole square plus 3k by b the whole square is equal to 1. This is the equation of my locus. Correct? So x square by a square plus 9 by square by b square is equal to 1. Got it? Okay. Is this clear now? Right? Okay. So We have reached the end of the session. I'll meet you again with more problems. See you later.